Hello and welcome to a cosy corner of our studio here in Felty Towers. Here's where my sister and I work, producing lots of little woolly characters, some of which you can see here. They've gathered together today to watch us demonstrate how to needle felt a sheep, always a popular topic. So if you're an experienced needle felter or a complete beginner, it doesn't matter. You'll pick up lots of hints and tips along the way as you watch this video. So relax into the watching and enjoy. So here we are, ready to start our project. Perhaps I should introduce myself and my sister first. Here we are. This is me, I'm the gobby one, doing all the talking. My sister is working in the background at the moment. She does a lot of the writing and I do a lot of the making, and we work together as the Woolly Felters and have done for about 6 years now. And we have produced this book. It was published by Search Press in February. It's doing really well and we're so pleased because we're very proud of it. It's a book that we felt needed to be written that answered all the questions that other books don't. So it takes you really right from the beginning through a journey. As a beginner, you'll be able to buy this book and start straight away. So it takes you through all the basics, the shape making, the help, what do I do if, you know, the troubleshooting bit, which we haven't found in books before. Thinking big, how to make a big shape, flat shapes, and then features and so on. And then the project's quite interesting because it's a journey really from something really simple, like, let's show you. This is the heart bunting that we've done on project 1, which is done in a cookie cutter. And I've actually done with my grandchildren, and it protects the cookie cutter protects their fingers, which is lovely. But then on to working on a polystyrene shape, or that's the next one, a pin cushion, which I do actually have here, and it works. They're really popular and fun to do, and we do a lot of those in our workshops. And each project will introduce you into yet another technique. In this one you're making simple shapes to make a little rabbit, and really it's just a cone and a head and a couple of ears and you've made a character. We love that about needle felting, is that you can really make little characters, robins. Anyway, so the sheep comes about 2/3 of the way through the book. Where is it? It's after the mouse, I think. Just about here. So it introduces you in this project to working with an armature, and I think that's quite nice for sheep because they've got those thin little legs and you need wire to support the body. So this is the project we will be doing today. So I will put the book there and show you first the materials that we use and the equipment in needle felting. For this project in particular, we're going to be using, first of all, we'll be using wire to make the armature. Now this is just a big roll I bought of garden wire. It's covered with plastic. It's quite strong because you need the legs to be reasonably strong. Sheep have big bodies. And then a very thin 30cm piece of wire. All this is in the book, all the measurements and everything. So yeah, wrap this. This is to wrap around this to create the armature. So that's your wire. Then we will need this, which is called core wool. And you can buy this in what's called rovings. This is a roving, this long length. It is washed, and it's not bleached, it's just washed really and combed, but not too much, and it's not dyed, so it's cheaper than the normal coloured wool, and has that slight smell of sheep, which I actually enjoy. So that's our core wool, and we'll be wrapping the armature in that. Then this is Norwegian wool. You can see the difference. This is fluffy and it's random. It's a coarse wool. We get it from www.norwegianwool.co.uk, run by 2 lovely ladies. It comes in a variety of colours, but we're going to go natural for this one. And this is called a bat, not a roving, because it's very random and it's fluffy. It comes in sort of sheets when you get sort of big roll of it when you get a lot of it. So that's that. Then of course the lovely Wensleydale wool, which is curly, which is great. So that's going to be the sheep's coat. We've got in here some of this, which some of you might be wondering about. It's floral tape, and it's used for wrapping wire to create the stems of flowers, and it's waxed. And what we do is cut up the middle of it and use thin strips of it for our projects and to wrap the legs. You'll see why in a minute. Anyway, it usually comes in green. You can buy it in brown, but if you've got green, use it, and I'll show you what to do later if it's green. Okay, the eyes. There we go, 2 little 3mm eyes, and they have got little bits of wire sticking out there that poke into the face. We need a little bit of merino wool, black merino wool, which I don't seem to have here at the moment, but I will get some for later. And some glue. I use a little bit of that. So that's your materials box, so not a huge amount of materials. Now, equipment-wise, also it's quite good because needle felting doesn't take a lot of equipment. So what I'm working on here is a sponge pad, and I've covered it with some hessian. Now, this is very posh hessian. It's coloured so that you can see what's going on with the white wool. But you can get all different colours, and you can get just box standard hessian from a garden centre or a potato sack or a rice sack, and use that. It's just to prevent the foam from disintegrating, because it does after a while. If you just want to start cheaply, buy a cushion pad and cut it up into bits, and that's ideal. You know, you just need a foam pad. Even a car sponge would do for cleaning your car. This is a pin cushion, which is great for storing all your goodies in that you're going to need. We're going to need 2 needles. One is a general fine needle. It's a 40 triangle. I won't go into all the gauges and the sizes at the moment, but this is a fine needle because we're working small. Okay, but when we're working next to wire, which we will be doing with the armature, we use a 38 star because it's thicker and it's got a shorter shaft and it won't break. If you hit the wire hard with a fine needle, it'll break. So I tend to sort of keep the 2 needles in the corner there, alternate between the 2. This lethal weapon is called a bradawl. This is for putting the eyes into the face. We need some little scissors, embroidery scissors are fine, and somewhere I've got, oh yeah, some of this wire cutters for cutting the wire, or old scissors. I've got a pair of big old scissors, that'll be fine. So we're ready to go. Okay, so here we are. We're going to start off by making the armature, and if I look in the book, we have templates and diagrams in here. Put that on there maybe, and we've got a diagram on how to bend our pieces of wire, and they sort of, that's it, it's very easy. Just bend it round the shape. Only has to be approximate, as long as the 2 lengths, these 2 lengths are the same size, because they're going to be the legs. And then the next one, like so. Let's get that about right down there. Don't spend too much time on this because this is the boring bit, to be honest. You want to get to the needle felting bit, don't you? Then you take your thin wire. Let's put that out of the way. And we are going to wrap the central section. This is the body section, with this wire to hold them together. So we just wrap, 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 like so. And keep going all the way along till this middle section is completely wrapped with wire. Like so. Okay, now at this point, so you've got a sort of H shape at the moment, but if you bend those down When you put it like that, you can begin to see what we're doing. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get our wax tape, our floral tape, which has been cut into thin strips. It's just easier to use to do that. And you take, this is one that I've been doing earlier. I've already done 3 of the legs there. You can see this one's undone and this one's covered in the tape. So I'll just show you how to do this last leg. Start at the top and sort of trap the end. There we go. Oops. The wax melts as you're handling it and makes it sticky, but it also makes it a bit slippy. So just get going. Getting going is always difficult. I'm going to bend those legs back like so. So I've just got this one. And the technique is to sort of twirl the wire. Do you see what I mean? Because if you're constantly doing this, it's just laborious. But if you twirl the wire like I'm doing, grabbing hold of this wire, it wraps that tape right down and go all the way down to the bottom, which is the hoof, and then just go over that hoof bit a little bit more to splay it out. Okay, like so. I don't know if you can see that. And then wrap it back up the leg like so until you get to the top. Now all this, well, a lot of this is going to be covered up, but because we're going to be covering the legs with wool next, this nice sticky waxy stuff that we're putting on will help the wool stick to the legs, which is always handy. I do use a little bit of glue in my projects, but I try not to really. But hey, there we go. So we now have brown legs. Now if you can only get the green, don't worry, do it in green and then use a bit of acrylic paint and or black nail varnish. That would be handy, wouldn't it, to just paint the hooves, because that's the only bit you're going to see. Okay, so there we are. There we have the legs, which can be splayed as you want. The next thing we're going to do is wrap them in core wool. So what we're going to do, I'll show you on one of the legs here. We get this core wool, which I was talking about earlier. This is the cheaper wool, but it's lovely because you can pull off these lengths. You see, it's quite long, the wool. Pull off the lengths and then starting, I'm going to use a little bit of glue here just to give it a bit of tackiness. Oh, you know what Yoo-hoo's like, it's all dribbly, but we're going to go down this leg, down to the bottom. Put that there. Start at the top and start wrapping. Again, easier if you put these legs backwards like so, and then you've got the freedom to twiddle, as I call it. So I'm going to twiddle all the way down to the bottom. Whoops. And try not to leave any gaps, but you are coming up again, so you know it's not crucial that there's any little brown bits showing, but it's nice if you can do it nice and tidily and tightly. Keep it tight because you don't want it to undo. And then just leave a little bit at the end for the hoof and come back up. Okay, whoop, there we go, it's got a little bit caught. And you can see that's making quite a nice leg now. It's covering and I can't see any of the brown tape anymore. So we're going to go right the way up to the top, neatening it as we go, because you're tucking in all these little extra fibres. And when you get to the top, a little spot of glue to keep it in place, a little bit of Yoo-hoo got some few little bits here, but I put a little bit on there, and then just wrap these bits and they'll stay in place like so. Can you see? There we go. And you wrap all 4 legs until they look like this. Okay, all right. Okay, so here we are with the legs all wrapped with core wool. And now we're just going to shape this a little bit more, because at the moment it's a bit wooden. It doesn't really look like a sheep at all. So first of all, we're going to bend the back legs out by about 1 centimetre. This gives us the hip bones. I'm not sure they're called hip bones in sheep, but hey. Then we're going to bend and down to create that. Most animals seem to have this sort of like thing at the back going on, don't they? That kink in the leg there. There must be a name for that joint too. Straighten them up. So okay, so we've got that. And then the front legs again, you go out 1 centimetre and down. This is giving us the breast bone of the front. So pull those in and just readjust. And the front legs go in a bit and then out, in a bit and then out. So you end up with, whoops, there we go. Takes a little bit of adjustment. You will find that your armature will go out of shape and you'll have to keep putting it back into shape for a while until it's got well and truly wrapped. But that's the shape. That's quite a good shape for a dog too. So now we're going to use the core wool again, and like I did last time, but a bit thicker this time. I'm pulling off lengths. I'm going to be wrapping now. This is the wrapping section. This is what we're aiming for, by the way. That's why I put that there. We're aiming for a body like that, and to get that you can wrap this body with wool. Okay, you just go round and round and round, and do it quite tightly. You want this wool to be packed really tight. A little mouse has fallen over. So keep going round and round and round and round. And keep putting the legs right. Keep going. This is the body section, which has actually got quite a lot of wool on it. And when you've done a little bit like that, one section, get your 38 star needle, the one that you used near the wire, and just attach it. Okay, that's all you have to do. Attach those fluffy ends. You will hit the wire now and again, don't worry about that. Okay, and you gradually take another length. Now this will probably take you about 3/4 of an hour to do, gradually building up the wool where you want it. And you go down the tops of the legs as well. You go around those, just, you know, think of a leg of lamb, that shape. So you want it thicker at the top than it is at the bottom. This is not difficult. And secure the ends again. So we keep going and going and going until you end up, believe it or not, with something like this. Okay. When it gets to this shape, you can start, if you want to make the breastbone bigger. I've needle felted this all over now with my 38 star needle. You can start to refine this shape. If you want bigger breast shape, you want bigger bottom, you can add some wool to there. But it doesn't have to be immaculate because we're going to be covering this with the curly wool. Okay, so we've got that. So the next thing we've got to think about is the head. Now in your book here, we've given you templates, and there's a head template here. And this is the head that we're going to be making. This is when we get down to the real needle felting. And this finished head will fit the right size round on there like that. So your sheep will begin to start taking shape. Okay, so let's make a head. And this time we're going to use, and I can't find it because it's probably fallen on the floor. Hang on a minute. Where's the wool? Ah, it is. Right, it escaped. We're going to use some of the Norwegian wool. Now this is quite fluffy. This is called a bat. It's not in a long length like the core wool. It's more random. It's quite coarse. And it's lovely for needle felting. So we're going to roll a sausage, as you can see, and we're going to needle felt the nose end. Okay, so we needle felt the end of this sausage to make it nice and round. Sheep's nose is nice and round. You can see I'm just beginning to get that shape that I want. I'm going straight in and out with this needle. If I go in and bend, I could break it. In fact, this is, I could use the other needle for this. It's a better needle, the finer 40 triangle, because there's no wire there. I don't have to worry about the needle breaking, so I can use this one. So you can see already it's beginning to get that sort of blunted sheep nose look. I get so that it's beginning to needle felt, gets sort of like dimples on it. I didn't see the dimples. Then I'll turn it round and I'll start packing the wool in to the end. So what I'm doing now is using the needle to push the wool into the end. And in this way it firms up quickly, because you're actually, you know, that if you just go up and down it takes forever. But if you can push that, I do it in lines, so I'm methodical. Push that needle in, push the wool down to the end of the nose, and it starts to firm up. Okay, so when you get to this point, I'll probably make it quite a lot firmer than this. You work along it till it's 3 centimetres or so long. It's the length of the sheep's face. And you can try it on the body every now and again, think, well, would that fit, you know, yeah, is that going to be okay? Then bend that bit round, and this will be the back of the neck now. And we're going to needle felt into that fold to keep it in place. Needle felt it so it's nice and neat. You get, that's the back of the neck there. I'll show you in a minute. So we're ending up with the head. You see the head like that. Take off any excess wool. Oh, this would be much firmer than I've done it. So that one I've done earlier, we'll use that from now on. But you splay out the fibres at the bottom. I'll show you how to put it on now using this one. This one's a little bit firmer because I've had more time to play with it. So that's going on there. Now at this point you can work out whether you want the sheep is grazing or looking up, looking round the corner like so, you know, having that look. So you can start creating the character of the sheep now. I'm just going to have it looking straight on at the camera. And I'm needle felting these loose ends that we left, these loose fibres, no gluing, you just needle felt them in and that will secure the head. I'm going to change needles because I'm going near wire, I can feel it. I don't want to break my fine needle. So I'm using 38 star, which is thicker, to go around this bit because I can feel I'm hitting the wire. There we go. So there you make a nice smooth join. Everywhere you stab with your needle, it will shrink the wool down, it will firm it up. And you can feel it happening. You can probably hear the crunch. Like so. Okay, so we've got this nice flow into the body take time. I'm rushing a little bit because I'm trying to show you. Don't want you to get bored. Needle felting isn't a quick craft, but the therapy is in taking your time, and the lovely crunch of that wool is great. So there we've got its head on. Now the next thing we're going to do is put the ears on. Okay, and these are the ears. Okay, so to make those is a slightly different technique. You put the wool onto your pad like so, and you work 40 triangle this time because there's no wire. You work on your pad and you use the tip of the needle to shape, so it's almost like a petal shape, this ear, to shape the ear. So you pull in and then you needle felt, you pull in, so you can create this little ear shape on your pad. Okay, like so. Then I'll show you here, we've got in the book the template for the ear, so you've got something to work to. Turn it, peel it off gently, turn it over and continue, and keep going like this until this little ear firms up and neatens up. Okay, just pinprick now, don't have to go in too deep. You don't want to attach it to the pad too much. Okay, can you see there? Alright, now after you've done that a few times, it neatens up and firms up. Put that one over there and you end up with the ear, and you make 2 of those, and then we'll attach them to your sheep. Splay out the fibres, as we say in our workshops, like the rays of the sun. And just squeeze that together a little bit, put it on the side, and I'm quite carefully needle felting the fibres into the head, those loose fibres. If ever you're going to attach something to something else, it has to have the loose fibres. So we'll just hope you can see, just holding the ear, needle felting those fibres in so that they flow smoothly into the face. It's coming on. Sheep's ears look great if they almost lie straight out. They go straight out from the side of the face. It does make them look a little bit silly, but I think it's great. There we go. So that one's on. Doesn't take long to put them on. Next one, again, splay out the fibres. Put the ear in place, match it up to the other one, and put those loose fibres, stab those loose fibres in. This is why it's wonderful, this hobby, because you don't have to have like too many tools. If you think about what we're using, you've got a foam pad, a couple of needles, a little bit of wool, and we're away, you know. So and it's not that expensive either. Right, a little bit more in there. Like so. Start to have a sort of character. You wait till we get the eyes in. So, ears are on. So the next thing we do is put the eyes in. I did see those in my little bag here. 3mm I think they are. And we need the glue. And we need this lethal weapon. So now let's have a look. Where do the eyes go? The eyes go on the side. Oh, that feels painful, doesn't it? Our sheep's eyes are quite wide apart, but you can put them where you like, really. I mean, we make rather silly sheep over here. This one, this is Lady Bar Bar, and her eyes are on top of her head. So, you know, it's up to you how comic they're going to look. So you just push that in so it's in there. This is a more realistic looking sheep. And this side. Oh God, once they get features, it just seems so cruel to use these tools. Okay, and now we put this eye in, just into the hole. Whoops, came out. There we go. And press, and then leave them just a little while till the glue's set. That's why I want that quick drying glue. There we go. Just a little bit tidying up around there. It's looking pretty good. Ears may be a little bit big, but you can actually bring them down in size. Okay, so now we want to put, whoops, the features, the nose and the mouth. And for that we're going to use merino wool. This is super fine merino wool, and it really is fine, but you can pull it into these wonderful thin lengths, and then you twist it a little bit to sort of bind it together, and then we can use it to make. So I'm going to put the bottom of the V of the nose in. You can see this. And let's just check. You can see. I'm doing this sort of upside down, so it's a bit difficult, but you get that little V in and then cut the end off. Just trim that end so it's neat. Then fold that in half, and the fold you put at the bottom of the V. Okay, then you bring it down using the tip of the needle to guide it. And then you can divide it in half. So at the moment he's got a moustache. Oops. Let's hold that bit round there. Bring this bit. There we go. And this bit around here. So he's got a bit of a smile. A bit of a happy sheep, this one. Trim off any end you've got. You can tidy this up, you know, a bit later. Well, I would anyway. Okay, so he's quite a nice looking sheep. Sorry, she's going to be a she. Then roll a little sausage of wool on your pad to create the tail. Needle felt the end like you did, get it round like you did for the nose, but this is only a little bit. It's a small sausage for the tail. Needle felt up a little way. Pull off any extra fibres that you don't want, because you don't want a massive long tail, do you? And then we'll just put that on. You won't see this much. Because of all the woolly, the curly wool. Okay, little tail going on there. Okay, there we go. So far, so good. Got a little bit of character. And here he is. I've been working a little bit on him, but not her. Why am I saying him? I don't know. Often happens. They dictate their gender. Right, so we're going to, this is our lovely Wensleydale wool. We're going to start putting this on. Now it comes in really big clumps. Just tease it out a little bit. Lay it on the surface and just start needle felt. Oh, I think I should use my other needle again. I can feel the wire. a little bit of grass in there. Mind you, that makes it look authentic. Okay, and start needle felting it in. And you just cover the whole sheep. Now you can get coloured dyed merino wool, so you could have a purple sheep if you want to, but I actually quite like the natural look. So you start just covering the whole lot. I would do the whole lot and leave the head till last. Find some nice little curls for the head. So here's one that I've been working on for quite a time now. This one's covered. Just a little patch to do here, which I'm going to fill in. There we go. Now in the book we call this our shabby sheep project, because it's sort of like curls everywhere, and we just love the name. So there we go, a little bit there. So I've left the head till last, and I'm going to find that's quite nice little ones. So I'm just going to cut the fluffy bits off and just put the really curly bits and make a top knot. Now you can have this as long as you like, or as mad as you like, but I sort of use the tip of the needle to arrange it. Get that nice curl going on. Can you see? Been to the hairdressers now. Okay. Don't think we need any more. A little bit maybe on that side. Just one little, few little locks in there, I think. So she's looking quite grand. Like so. Yes, I think she's looking good. And I did have a little flower to put in. I don't know whether I'll be able to keep this in. I'll probably have to glue it above her ear. I think we'll call her Eunice or Barbara, usual names for sheep. There we go. Oh, hang on a minute. There. I'll get your hair back a little bit. So there she is. And in all her glory. In her, you can also have a little one. This is where we've reduced the pattern. This is where we've reduced the pattern, created a little one like that. So she's rather sweet. So there's your sheep. I hope you've enjoyed learning how we do it. There they are. And they appear, as I said at the beginning, they appear in our book by Search Press. We're very proud of it. All these animals here, some of whom you can see behind me, you can make from the book. 12 projects and 128 pages. Troubleshooting, how to make shapes, materials. And then the projects begin with the bunting. Very easy. Bunny on a polystyrene base. There's quite a lot in here. There's our pin cushion that we've been using, and so on. There's the panda. Panda I've got over here. He's lovely. Ros made him. He's gorgeous, isn't he? So yes, lovely book. £9.99, and well, it's very popular. It's been out since February, but we're really proud of that one. And the other book that we're proud of is our little needle felted teddy bears, which is 96 pages long, I think, and has over 42 teddies in it, different teddies. One basic teddy, and we dress them in lots of different ways. So that's lovely too. But as well as that, if you're interested in taking up this wonderful craft, we do kits. So we do the Romney sheep kit, and Andy alpaca and cool cats. So you don't have, everything's in there, you don't have to buy anything. But our latest kit, which has been ultra popular, is our Ickle Mouse kit. And he's actually here with his new girlfriend. I must introduce you. This is Ickle Mouse and his new girlfriend Tilly May, and they tell stories on our Woolly Felters Facebook page. So if you'd like to follow us at all, then just log on and like the page and you can follow his adventures. He does some very silly things and some very nice things too, Ickle. He's got a vast following, and there's a lot of Ickle Mouses out there being made. You can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, our Woolly Felters Instagram. And if you'd like to go onto our site, which is www.woollyfelters.com, there's lots more goodies, free PDFs, and we've got a shop. And so take a peek. So I hope you've enjoyed needle felting a sheep. And if you haven't started, have a go. And if you have, welcome to the club. Thank you. Bye.